Hey everybody, this is Tim with Op-Ed Daily. So I've got a really big economic update for you here, and it's not looking good. I'll just say that. We're not heading towards an economic collapse, okay? We are not heading towards one. We are already here. And this economic collapse isn't just, happenstance. It didn't just happen because some people were idiots. No, this was orchestrated. And I'll get to the reasoning behind that after I list a couple of things I want to go over with you guys. And then I'll bring it all full circle and explain to you why I've come up with that conclusion. So first of all, Lenovo is cutting 3,200 jobs. Okay, that's 5% of its total workforce gone. 500 of those jobs are in Chicago with their Motorola division in Chicago. Those are really good paying jobs, okay? Tyson Foods is laying off 400 people. They're closing an Iowa beef processing plant. Union Pacific is cutting hundreds of management jobs. Those are really good paying jobs, okay? Those aren't just lower middle class. A management position at Union Pacific is likely middle class, upper middle class. They're blaming it on a 26% drop in coal shipments, but then they turn around and say, the spokesman, Aaron Hunt, he's a spokesman for Union Pacific, he said that they are job eliminations, not temporary layoffs, which means even if coal does come back and they start shipping more, they're not going to bring them back. So I don't know how they can say those things at the same time, but whatever. Now, these next two are more in line with what I'm getting at as far as, we're already in the collapse here. So, Extreme Networks is laying off 20% of its entire workforce. 20%. Which is weird because they just got through purchasing Enterasys Networks for $180 million. So they purchase Enterasys Networks for $180 million and then lay off 20% of their entire workforce. I mean, how do you do that one? They posted net losses of $15.7 million in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2015. Now, they claim that they've had execution issues after acquiring Enterasys, but overall, it was a good acquisition. I don't know how you come up with that one, but, whatever. Isn't it odd that, that they can do that? They could purchase a company for $180 million, then turn around and lay off 20% of their workforce because they, quote, can't afford them. It's not odd once you realize what's going on here. Now, Kraft Heinz, and keep in mind it's not Kraft and it's not Heinz anymore, it's Kraft Heinz, because they merged around May, making Kraft Heinz the third largest food company in the United States and the fifth largest in the world. They're going to lay off 2,500 jobs between the United States and Canada. Now, the shareholders in those companies made bank. I mean, they had this bonus dividend that they handed out, $16.50 a share, I believe, on top of their other shares. And Heinz took over 51%. But this whole thing, if you look at how it happened, this whole thing was orchestrated by Berkshire Hathaway and I can't think of the name of the other investment company, but they're the ones that orchestrated this merger. Okay? And it's likely other investment firms orchestrated the acquisition of Extreme Networks and all of the mergers and acquisitions that you see lately. And you're going to be seeing a lot of mergers and acquisitions. I want you to be paying attention to that. Okay? Because it's happening. And that goes right in line with what I'm saying. Are you seeing the pattern? So our economy is flailing. Floundering, whatever you want to say about it. And Obama's up there lying to everyone about the state of the economy. Huge corporations are gobbling each other up. And all the small guys as well. while the market is in a huge slump. But you got Obama out there. He's telling, hey, go out there. Our jobs numbers are fine. We've only got 5% unemployment, which is total bullshit. If you believe that there's only 5% unemployment in this country, that you've got, I don't know, issues more than I can talk about here. That's a different subject anyway. So they're going to tell you to go out, go get a student loan, rack up $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in debt, or $150,000 in student loan debt that you're never going to be able to claim bankruptcy against. Go out there and get a car. Go out there and get a mortgage. Let's get these banksters there, 20%, 30% interest rates, even though those banks are getting 0% interest rated money from the Fed. So it ain't costing them a dime to get the money printed from the Fed, but that they turn around and charge you guys, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% interest. And then you go, it's even worse with those payday loans. That's another subject. I won't get into that. So basically what all this is going to amount to is a collapsing economy, which we are currently in. Now, it's going to find equilibrium in the future, okay? Eventually, things will peter off and it will become, relatively stable at some point in the future. Now, when we peak out into the other side, the entire economy, and this is what we're going to see, the entire economy and all the goods and services within it will be owned and operated by 10 to 15 corporations, if that. And of course, those corporations are going to be backed by a few huge banks and investment firms. Now, granted, there's always going to be these little mom and pop shops where people want to start a business because they actually believe that this is capitalist, the way of capitalism. This isn't capitalism. This is called fascism. But those small businesses are likely going to be paycheck to paycheck businesses that are constantly on the verge of collapse. And a lot of this stuff has to do with the fact that people can't seem to get out of the big box stores, okay? You need to focus on local stuff. You buy local, you shop local, you spend local, you work local. When you do that, your local economy is great. But every time you go to Walmart, every time you go to Best Buy, or every time you go here or there, your money doesn't stay in that locale, okay? It goes wherever, because those are national corporations, transnational corporations. And it seems the goal through all of this is to tank all of the economies throughout the world, have the big banks and the big corporations come in and buy up all the struggling companies, even if they're not struggling. What'll happen is they'll drive down the stock prices, and then the investment banks and the big corporations will come in there and either merge with it or gobble it up because the share prices are so low. They want the economy to tank so that they can come in and easily swallow up all of these other companies. And then they're going to turn around and tell everybody, we have a solution. And what's that solution? A one world government operating within a one world economy using a one world currency. And the only products you'll be able to purchase will come from a select few bankster-owned and operated corporations. What if you want to boycott? Yeah, that's going to be impossible unless you go off and live in the woods in a hut you've created by using the surrounding flora and fauna. But even that's going to be impossible because we know how they treat people like that, like vagabonds. The government will come in and tell them, hey, you guys have to participate in this Ponzi scheme or you're going to jail. This whole collapse has been orchestrated so that they can further condense all of the money and all of the power into a select few corporations and banks and people. They've been doing this over and over and over again, slowly gobbling up smaller companies. They'll drive down the stock prices and then purchase them. And then it'll come out of that economic slump and there will be fewer and fewer and fewer businesses. And then they will increase regulation on small businesses and make it extremely difficult to participate and compete in the marketplace. Do you see where this is going? That's what this whole thing is about. That's what this whole thing has been about. And this isn't just happening here, guys. This is happening everywhere. The EU, the European Union, they're screwed. I mean, they are flailing just as bad as we are, if not worse. Japan, Italy, France, I mean, Greece. Look at Greece. You know, Puerto Rico, Cuba. It's going on everywhere. And they orchestrated the whole thing so that they can do just what I said they're going to do. But many of you aren't going to care just as long as you got your iPads, your iPhones, and your Windows 10 operating system. Because what else is there, right? Got your face stuck in these things and you can't see past it. Or you are just oblivious to what's going on around you. It is time to spread the word, people. This is their plan, and it's currently underway in full force. We aren't headed towards a collapse. We are in a collapse. This is Tim with Op-Ed Daily. Peace out.